everybody. How is everybody tonight? Who's excited to paint? I'm just finding myself here on my laptop. Say hi as you come on. Let me know where you're watching from. I see people popping on here. Hi, Janet. Hi, Tracy. Glad you're looking forward to this. I have another Tracy from Ontario. Awesome. Let's see who else is popping on here. We've got Carrie and Kathy and Joan. Everyone's popping on. I'm excited to have everybody here tonight. Gonna have fun painting this here. Let me move this down a bit so you can see it. I gotta figure out this backwards camera thing. There we go. At least you can read 2021 right, even if I'm painting backwards all night to myself. I'm just happy everyone can see it the right way. I'm a little bit early tonight, so we've got a couple minutes before 8 o'clock, and then we'll still give people a few minutes to pop on and find me. We'll go over the supply list and all that fun stuff before we get started. So everybody just get settled in, get your stuff ready, get a nice drink, put on some music. Whatever really makes you feel at peace while you're painting. Usually I light a candle. I didn't light a candle tonight. Maybe I'll go get a lighter and light a candle. Let's see here. I got this set of 12 candles off of Amazon, and they're really nice. They smell really good. This one is Mediterranean Fig. They're all like aromatherapy. So I usually light one when I'm painting, but I forgot to I usually light it about a half an hour before I start, so, you know, the room smells good. I forgot, so, but it's lit now, so. Just put it to the side there. Okay. Just making sure everything is good with my computer so I can see everybody. I don't think I have any, don't think I have any anybody scamming me yet tonight that I can see. So if you see any links besides the one I just posted up, I just posted one up for my upcoming Confident Creators circle that I'm going to be starting in March. So besides that one, if you don't see my name beside a link, please don't click it. It's probably just a scam. They're going to try to get you to sign up for something else. So mine actually says Crystal Anger and then Confident Creative Circle. So that actually is me. But any other links tonight, don't click them because they are a scam. Okay, so in a couple minutes, we'll go over the supply list. I still see people popping in here. If this is your first time painting with me, let me know in the comments. If you've painted with me before, you can let me know that, although I probably recognize your name, but put it in the comments if you're a first timer here tonight. I see a lot of first timers coming up. Welcome. I'll explain a little bit once a few more people pop on just how the night works and what to expect really. But I'll wait a few more minutes. I still see numbers rising here, so give everyone a chance to get on. So yes, for anybody who is wondering if there's going to be a replay, as soon as this video is done, I'm going to replay it on my page under videos. Also, I have a YouTube channel, same name, Artisticris, which I will post it there in a couple days. So if you need to watch it immediately after this, or you want to watch it tomorrow, I would just go under videos on my page. If you are waiting a few days, then you can get it either or, YouTube or on my page. Awesome. Stephanie says, first time mother-daughter paint night. That's awesome. Mom and 2 daughters. Yes, kids are always welcome to my paint parties. There's nothing that's inappropriate during these paint parties except for maybe my dog wrestling himself. Sometimes while I paint, you'll hear some grunting and groaning. But besides that, nothing is coming inappropriate for me. And also, for anyone who has kids who is newer to my page, about 2 Sundays a month, me and my 4-year-old daughter, we do free Parent and Me Paint Days on Sundays at noon Eastern. So this Sunday, there is going to be one if anybody wants to join in with their kids. And I always post replays. All my videos are replayed. So if there's something that you see that you want to do, it should be under videos on my page. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to quickly go through the supply list and then we'll get painting. It looks like the number has evened out for people joining, so we will get started. Okay, so first I'll explain. So my name's Crystal Anger, if you're a first timer with me, and I started Artisticris roughly 2 years ago, this past November. It was mostly in-person paint parties, but since COVID hit, I decided to throw it online, and it seems to be going very well. People seem to be enjoying it. So this is something that I love to do. I've been painting for over 12 years. I am self-taught, and it's just something that, a passion that I would love to share with everybody, so that's why I do this. For tonight, I will tell you between each step, you know, to throw your thumbs up when you're done or to comment in the comments just so I know and can communicate with you on who still needs more time. I do like to hit a happy medium between somebody painting for the very first time and somebody who is more of an experienced painter. So if you're sitting there and you're super fast and you're done, sit back, enjoy the time you have and relax. And for anybody who falls incredibly behind, I always post a replay. So I try to make everybody kind of meet in the middle there with all that. So we'll get started. So we have a paper plate here tonight. That's what our paint's gonna go on. I have some napkins. The brushes I'm using tonight are, this is a 3/4 inch flat brush, but you could use a 1/2 inch. I think that's what I put in the description. Anything roughly around this size will work. And then I have a smaller flathead there, and then just a detailed brush. So just a tinier, smaller detail brush. If you have these three, anything around that, even if this one's like a round head, that's no problem. We don't get too fussy here when we paint. Then we've got a cup of water. If you have the stencil, then there was this stencil here that you can use. You can feel completely free to freehand this. This is no big deal. I just did provide a stencil in case anybody wanted it. So we have that here tonight. I have my graphite paper. You could have either had graphite paper or chalk will work, and I'll show you both ways. And then just a pen to trace it. And I have a blow dryer here tonight. And then we have some light pink. Now, I always say these colors, I put them in there because the example I give, if somebody wants to paint exactly the same way, then these are the colors I use. But I always welcome lots of creativity, different ideas. Any colors you want are fine. You do not have to follow these strictly. So I do have a light cotton candy pink tonight, an orange, a purple velvet, an ocean breeze, which is like an aqua color, black, and white. So not too many colors tonight, sticking pretty simple. Like I said, throw in any colors you want. That's what creativity is all about. There is no right or wrong. So let's get started. Whoever is ready to start painting, just throw me some thumbs up in the comments or throw me some likes and we will get started. So I'll wait till I see those. I'll do this between every step. When I see a majority of thumbs come up, then I'll continue on. All right, I'm seeing a ton. So I'm gonna move this closer here. And we're gonna start by just painting our background first. So we're gonna get our colors on our plates, which I have the ocean breeze here, so I'm gonna put that one on our plate. And we're gonna get some of that light pink as well. And some purple. And then I'm gonna put some white. Okay. So what we have right now is just these 4 colors. You can have any 4 colors you want. White and black are kind of, you need to have those ones, but the rest you could be any colors you wanted. So we're gonna start with our big flat brush here. Yes, pink is my daughter's favorite color, you're right. I see you've done paint nights with us. Okay, and what we're gonna start is we're just gonna start doing up top here, side to side, and we're gonna go in with that aqua color. So we're gonna grab a good amount there, and we're just gonna go side to side like this. I'm using both sides of my brush. This way it's evenly distributed. And this is a multimedia pad I have. This is a Canson. It's called a Canson multimedia pad, and it's 11 by 14. I get mine on Amazon, although last time I checked they were out, so people must be really scooping them up. But You could probably get a different brand. Just read what do you call that? The reviews, just to make sure that it's a good one. But this one's awesome. I love this one. The paint doesn't go through. You can do watercolor. You can do acrylics. So what we're doing is just back and forth. And while we have about this much, so I have about maybe like an inch and a half of that aqua color, I'm gonna go right in and just grab a little bit of pink on my brush, and I'm just gonna brush it right there, just lightly on top, just to kind of bring in that color a bit in there. Doesn't have to go all the way across. We're just gonna bring a little pink into that. And really what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be alternating colors all the way down. So I have this aqua color that I started with, and I just brought in a tiny bit of pink there. And then I'm going to go, I'm not going to wash out my brush. I'm just going to keep going from color to color. I'm going to go into the purple, and I'm just going to continue on right there like that. So bringing in some purple or whatever other colors you have. Just be careful if you're going from warm to cool colors, because you'll get a brown if you mix the two. And we're just bringing in that purple there all the way across. And there's really no right or wrong to switching up your colors. Make it your own. Doesn't have to look like mine. This one isn't going to look like this one. It's going to be a bit different because this is all freehand, right? So we aren't machines. We're only human. And I'm just going to keep going across. If you find you have too much of a line, you could always just dip the end of your brush in a tiny, really tiny bit of water and just kind of go over that line, and you'll see it's going to blend in a lot better. But just a tiny bit, just a tip in water. You don't want too much because you don't want it to drip. And then as we keep going down, we can grab some pink and kind of bring it in here and blend it in. We're only taking these colors to about, I would say maybe an inch and a half to the bottom. We're not going to go crazy with the colors. We're only going to go to maybe about here, and then we're going to leave this much for our snow down here. And I'll show you kind of how we go from being so colorful into more of a subtle look. So right now we're just playing with these three colors here back and forth. And I'm not pressing down too hard, just lightly incorporating them into each other. So we're still going here with more teal, or aqua, I should say. I'm going to bring in some purple. It's really just going to be a fun, colorful background. We're just bringing in lots of different colors into here. Gonna have one strong arm by the time we're done. It's like a workout for the arm. You go back and forth so many times. I'm coming back in with some more pink here. And I'm still being conscious of how far down I'm going. So I don't want to go too much further. I want to go to about here. key to blending is you just want wet on wet. So as long as your paints are wet on wet, you'll be able to blend. The second they start drying is when you start to see that dividing line. That's when you can go ahead and add a little bit of water to your brush, or what you're gonna do is just add a little bit more of that color. So it's really up to you. I could just be adding more pinks and purples here. I could go from pink to purple, let's say, and put a little more purple, and that's gonna blend that in. Or I can just go straight into my water here, just the very tip, and then when I go over that line, it's going to blend in nicely. So either way will work. I'm gonna bring a little bit more pink up in here. And so up here you see is it's starting to dry. Acrylic paint dries super fast. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of water on my brush, and then when I go over those edges, they're gonna smooth right out. You can just keep going lightly over, and they will smooth into each other with that water. Okay, so really that's all I did for the top here. You could even, I think I'm gonna add just a tiny bit more pink up in here. Kind of play with your sky, have fun with it. Like I said, there's really no right or wrong. As long as you got the blending down for, or the technique down for blending, then you can really do anything you want with the colors. And just keep going back and forth with between the two until you like it. And then once you're done that, you can wash all the colors out of that big brush. We're still gonna be using it, but we don't wanna bring as much color down here, so we're gonna do it a little different. So get that brush washed out really good when you're done. If anybody has any questions that I'm missing, you can always message me on my page after. So just go to Artistic Chris, and then you can message me if you have any questions and I'm missing them, just because I have my back turned to you and there's a ton of things popping up here, tons of comments. So we're still got our brush, we're just getting it all washed out. Make sure it's not leaking any water from the bottom. So many times I don't dry my brush far enough down, and then I go to paint and all the water leaks down and then I have big drips all over my painting. I still do that after 12 years. You think I would learn? Okay, so how we're gonna finish this off here on the bottom is we're gonna go into that white now. So we're grabbing a good amount of white, because really the white on white is not, the point is it's not gonna show. The point is we want it wet so that when we go to blend lighter colors in, they are gliding smoothly. So we just wanna go and do all this part white down here and back and forth still the same way that we did. And we're just getting all this covered with white paint down here. That's our main goal. So now once you have this covered with the white and it's wet, this is when you can bring in a couple of the lighter colors. And how you're gonna do that is, you can see here, this is really vibrant, and then as you go down, you can see the color here, but it's just really light, right? So I started with the purple, and I literally just put, if you see here, I don't wash out my brush, there's still the white, and I just grab a very tiny bit, because we don't want it to overpower. And I'm gonna go side to side down here still, like this. And then what I'm gonna do is grab a little more white and kind of just go over it a bit. So you're gonna see it's a lot more faint. It's more like a shadow than an actual background. I'm gonna do the same thing down here with a little bit of that aqua. So I'm just grabbing a little more white because it dries so fast here that I'm already dry. And then I'm gonna go in the same way, just a little bit on my brush there with a whole, you see all the white that kind of fell down there, but there's still a little bit of teal here. That's what we want, because when we brush flat, we're gonna be mixing that white with that teal. Let me just kind of pick a spot and go for it. And you can fix this like if you grabbed too much paint, that's not a big deal. You just go back and you can grab some more white and put it on top. It's always fixable. Everything's always fixable. And you can decide. You have control over how dark you want it. Yeah, the replays will be on my page that you're on right now under videos. So as soon as this live is done, I'm going to post it there and it will be there. And then in a couple of days, I'll put it on my YouTube channel as well, which is Artisticris as well. So if you want a quick gander of all my past tutorials, just go under Artisticris on YouTube. You can subscribe to my channel and all my free past tutorials are up there. So that's kind of what it looks like here. So you can see, we can see the reflection on the snow of the colors, but they're just a lot more subtle. So I'll give everyone a couple minutes just to get it how they'd like their background. I'm gonna drink some of my tea here. I got a chai latte I made myself. That's my favorite when I'm painting. What's everybody else drinking tonight? Nope, this is a multimedia paper. So if you check this out here, where's my beginning here? So this is what I'm using here. This is a multimedia book, and this is good for watercolors, acrylics, and magic markers, I believe it says. Let me see here. Pencil, pen, and I believe it says markers somewhere, maybe not, maybe I lied. But anyways, this is good for acrylics and watercolor for sure. And what's nice about this is, like, you can paint as many pictures as you want, like, and it doesn't go through. So all of these paintings I have here, and nothing is going through. This is the one I'm painting this Sunday with my daughter, if anyone wants to join in. Right on my page at 12 noon, so we'll be painting this one together. Okay, so once you're done that, if you want to go ahead and give it a quick blow dry, that way it's dry. Because we're going to be putting these snowmen on top, we want to make sure our background is super dry because we are no longer blending, now we're layering. So we are going to want to make sure this is dry before we continue on. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick blow dry and let you guys finish up there. So I use a whole bunch of different kinds of acrylic paints. You can mix your acrylic paints. This one is Folk Art, which is it's like a medium brand, I would say. It's a liquid paint. This one I like a lot. If you want to stay a little bit cheaper for good quality, I just get these at the Dollar Tree. So for $1.25, these are really good for the price. And then I also use, I don't have it here tonight, but I also have Basics Acrylics, which is one step up really from the Folk Art. It's almost like half paste, half liquid. It's kind of on the verge, so I like those ones too. But yeah, no, this tutorial will be up for a long time, so no worries about missing it or not having time to do it. You'll have plenty of time. Okay, so if everybody's ready to move on, just let me know in the comments. Just give me some thumbs up. Okay. I'm seeing lots of thumbs up here. I'll give it one more minute and then we'll move on here, just in case anybody's waiting. I have a couple not yet, so we'll just give it another minute. I think if you help them out, I would say 6 and older. My daughter is 4 years old, and that's who I do the tutorials with. So sometimes she just needs me to kind of guide her with where something's placed. But once I help her out with that, then she's good to go, and she's only 4. So I'd say those, because she does art so much, because I'm always doing art with her, she tends to be a little bit more advanced in that aspect. But I'd say definitely 6 and up should have no problem doing this. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we kind of want to know where our numbers are going to be placed before we do our snowmen. That way we leave enough room. So if you do have the stencil, you can go ahead and just kind of put it up here like this. And just kind of know where you want to have it placed. So we're not going to trace it on yet. We're going to do our snowman first. But what we're going to do is just, I'm going to take a little tiny... just a little tiny mark here and kind of just mark where this is going to roughly be. So just underneath, just that little dot, so I know that my snowmen, we want to keep them kind of down here. So I'm just doing a little tiny mark. If you're doing your numbers freehand, then you can just go ahead and do your snowmen and then just fit your numbers in after. But for the stencil, that's what I like to do there. So I just put a tiny little mark here, which won't show because we're going to color these black afterwards and it'll be traced over. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do the 3 snowmen's bodies. So I still like to use my big brush for this. If you're not comfortable using a brush this big, you can always go to the smaller one here. But I'm just going to go right into the white. Just like that. And then I'm going to place their 3 lower snowballs first. You can always do the one in the middle first, and then you kind of know how much space you have on the outside. So I'm going to start with that one first, and what I like to do is usually just do almost like a half circle this way and a half circle this way. So I'm going to bring this down like this. You can always start smaller first and expand it afterwards. And kind of just fill that in. So we're just making a half circle this way, a half circle this way. That's the easiest way I found to keep it circular. Doesn't have to be completely round. He could be a plumper snowman or have a base that's melting a little bit and a little bit flatter. So don't worry about being too particular about it. And we're just gonna fill that guy in there. And also what I like to do is you can put your 3 balls first and then you can always make them bigger after. So if you want them closer, just kind of play around with where you want them placed. So I'm going to put the other one here. And fill it in. And then same with this side here. So we're just getting them placed on there. I'm probably going to make that middle one a bit bigger now that I can see I have room to. They don't all have to be the exact same size though. I'm just going to take that out a little bit. So we just have our 3 snowballs on the bottom there. Don't worry if you can see through a bit. We're gonna put some shadowing in there anyway, so there's gonna be another coat of white. But we just wanna have it just kind of placed where we want them for now. And this is, so far I'm just using my white. This is just plain white. So for the background, I just use these 3 colors. So just like an aqua, a light pink, and a medium purple. So once we have our 3 snowballs placed here, we can go ahead and do the same thing and put the 3 heads on. And I'm still using the big brush. Like I said, it's up to you, whatever you're comfortable with. But I'm gonna do the same exact thing. So I'm just gonna start a little bit smaller and go halfway here. And just fill that in. So I'm not putting a completely round ball this time. I'm kind of just putting it so that he's kind of smushed on there a little bit. Like I said, start smaller. You can always expand afterwards. So once again, I'm just going halfway this way, and then just filling in the middle. This one's just the big one I'm using right now, the big flathead, but you could use a smaller one if you're not comfortable using one that big. You can take your time to tweak if you want to make the bottom bigger or the top bigger. I better stop. I'm gonna have one big snowball here if I keep tweaking. This here is a 3/4 inch brush. You could use a 1/2 inch too though. This one's just 3/4 because my daughter, I think, stole my 1/2 inch and I have no idea where it went. So I took my 3/4 inch. Make this one a little bit bigger here. So what you can do is you can go ahead and put some black on your plate. That's okay, Amanda, if yours isn't fully white yet. It just depends on what brand of paint you're using. So my white is a little bit thicker than, let's say if I was using this brand. So I'm able to do a decent amount of coverage with one coat, but we're gonna go over with a second coat in a minute and put some shading in. So it should cover pretty good when you start putting that second coat on. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little bit of my white here. I still have just a little bit left here. I'm just gonna pull some to the side. I don't have very much. I probably could have just put it all there, but pull a little bit to the side, and I'm gonna put a little bit of black in there, just a very little bit. I don't want a lot. I want to make like a really light gray. So just do a little bit at a time until you get your desired color. So it's gonna be, let me see what I did here, like a very, almost a little less than a medium gray, but a little more than a light gray, kind of in there somewhere. So you'll see there, just like a little bit lighter than medium gray. So I just used my small brush to mix because I didn't want to waste all my paint with my big bristles. But I'm going to go back to my big brush. So what we're doing really is we want to create these shadows in the snowman so that we can see that he is, I mean, we're going to put the black, but we can see that he's round and he's in this snow down here. So we're also going to be able to differentiate between his head and his body. So what I'm going to do is I need to put a little more white on my plate here. And I'm going to start with my first snowman that I did because he should be dry right now, and he pretty much is. If you have to give it a quick blow dry, go ahead, but if he's just a little bit wet, that's okay. And I'm going to go back into the white, and I'm going to put that second coat in there because we want him to be wet again because we're going to blend in some gray. So what we're doing is we're just getting that bottom snowball wet with white paint. Then I'm going to go in just the very tip into that light gray. So not too much. And I'm going to take one swipe this way, and I'm just going to keep swiping this way here. Now if he becomes a little bit too dark, you can always go back into your white and kind of take it down a bit. So just kind of play with it. But we just want it to be subtle. We don't want him to look dirty, just like it's a bit of a shadow. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other side here. So So I'm just bringing in a shadow there. I can wipe off that excess gray if you have too much on your brush, and then just go right back into that white. And we're gonna go almost over that spot again. So you're gonna be able to see that gray through a bit, but it's not gonna be in your face. It's just subtle. And I'm gonna keep moving down and doing that with all of the lower ones. So all 3 of these snowballs. Just another nice coat of white paint so it's wet. And then just very little. You can always add more, it's harder to take away, so just start with a little bit. So I'll show you closer up here. If you see how these are more blended, the bottom, and then all of a sudden that one's kind of stark, right? So just come back in with that white, bring it in here. And it kind of tones it down a bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with their heads as well. So just coming back in with some white. And then just kind of going on both sides here. And sometimes you'll get like a buildup on your brush of paint. It's okay to wipe it. You don't have to wash it out, but just wipe it off on your napkin. And sometimes it's good just to go in fresh and then start again. Because once you start to have that paint kind of collecting down at the bottom, you're always going to be incorporating that color into what you're doing. So if you're finding like too much gray is still staying in there, you probably just have gray that pushed down into the brush and it's just staying in there. So just give it a quick fresh wipe on your napkin and then go back in with the white, and that gray is going to eliminate a lot. So now we got our 3 snowmen. They're wondering where their faces are. They're coming soon. Yeah, so for anyone just popping on asking about replays, the replay will be on my page under videos as soon as this tutorial is done. Julie, if your snowman is too gray, you can always quickly give it a blow dry. Because right now, while it's wet, you're just going to keep blending that gray around no matter how much white you put. If you give it a quick blow dry, make sure it's all dry, and then go back in with white, it will help it a lot. Yeah, the classes that I do on Sunday with my daughter are about an hour and a half long instead of 2 hours. So anywhere from an hour and 15 minutes to 2 hours. This Sunday is probably going to be closer to an hour and a half. There's a little bit more involved. But even if you want to split it into 2 classes, there is always that replay. So you can do half and then go back another day and do the other half. Okay, so I'll give everyone a couple minutes. Let me know in the comments if you are done your snowmen, if you're ready to move on. Does anybody need more time still? Okay, I see some people need more time. I see some people are done. So we'll just give them another couple minutes here. No rush tonight. Always when I paint, it's just about enjoying the moment. My week has been hectic, as I'm sure many of your weeks have been hectic, especially coming out of 2020. So let's take our time, relax. There's no rush. So while we're waiting, I will just explain a little bit about that link I put on top. So I am starting something in March. It's going to launch called the Confident Creative Circle. So I always like to bring confidence into my art because I feel like the world we live in right now, there's a ton of anxieties and just massive things happening that are like, what's going on now? So I like to bring confidence into art because confidence diminishes anxieties. It just, you know, you have your anxieties because you're not sure of what's going on or what's happening. So as soon as you start to feel more confident, those kind of go down. So I decided to start this Confident Creative Circle, which is going to launch in March. So there's going to be a founding member launch, which will be monthly. So there'll be monthly payments of $10, which is only going to be for my founding members. So just a short time, that window will be open for you to come and join us. And there'll be painting tutorials monthly. There's going to be some challenges where I give away gift cards in the group, questions and answers over tea or coffee with me or whatever you want to drink. For me, it'll probably be tea or water. Things like that. So there'll be guest artists eventually, but all the founding members will be in for the lowest locked-in price. So you will always get it for $10 no matter in 2 years from now if there's 1,000 videos and so much content. So that's really, that's going to be starting in March. The link that I put is not to sign up to pay for anything tonight. That is just to get on the pre-list. So for when my challenge starts going into the membership, if you're curious about more info about it, you can put your email in there and then I'll just keep you up to date. So there's no obligations for anything. It's just basically for info if you're interested in joining a group and creating art like this on a monthly basis. Cheryl says the link is not working. If the link isn't working, when I'm done, I will edit this video and just put the link on the top of the description if it's not working in the comments. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we are gonna work on doing their little earmuffs on the sides. So you can go ahead and do whatever colors you want. I kind of just kept incorporating these same colors into it. So I'm gonna go and use, where is my little brush here? Just that little flathead brush there is what I'm gonna be using. And so my first one, I'm just gonna use that aqua color. So we just have a little bit there, and we're just creating ovals on the sides of their heads. So we're gonna start on this one here, and I'm just gonna go, and I'm gonna form the oval kind of to the shape of their head. So always touching the head, but then coming out in an oval shape. So you'll see there, it's kind of bending with the circle, but it's still an oval. And same with this side here. Sorry if my head's in the way, I will move. So we've got one on each side. And then I'm just I'm gonna use this flat brush like it's a skinny one. So I'm just gonna be using it on a 90-degree angle. So now, instead of using that whole width of this brush, I'm just using that skinny part. And I'm gonna go ahead and just bring this color right over his head like that. Just to connect them. And don't worry, we're gonna be going over this with black after, so it's gonna stick out more. But for now, so I'll move it closer so you can see. We have our one guy with earmuffs. Now you can put a hat on him if you want. You do not have to do all earmuffs. You can get as creative as you want. And then the next one is pink. So he's looking up. So I'm still gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna put those two ovals on the side like I did for the teal. That doesn't change. And then what I'm gonna do here, you'll see, because he's looking up, I'm only gonna put just a tiny little bit of pink right here and right here, because really it's gonna be wrapping around the top of his head. So you don't have to put it right over top unless you don't want your snowman looking up. If you just want them all looking straight, then you can go ahead and put it all around. So this one is just the pink I'm using. It's the same pink that I used in here. So I'm sticking with these three colors tonight. So that's just the aqua that we used here, the pink here, and then this one's gonna be the purple. And don't worry about it not showing too much right now. Like I said, we're gonna put some black in there and it's gonna pop out. Yeah, so I went a little bit over the snowman with the earmuffs, just a little bit. Not a whole bunch, but that oval is a little bit overlapping his head. That's a good idea, Amanda. She mixed the colors and made a different color for the earmuffs. You can, yeah, go and mix some colors, have fun. That's what we're here for. Experiment. 'Cause, 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 'c And then for this guy here, when I'm all done their earmuffs, I'll hold them back up and just kind of show you the angles of all of them. For this one here, he's kind of looking up and on the side. He kind of turned his head. So we have the earmuff almost like a circle here instead of an oval, because you can almost see the whole thing. So we're going to put that almost right on his face there. And then this one's going to be just a little bit showing, not too much. Just like a little half circle out there. And this one's not going over his face, because from that angle, it would not go over his face. We wouldn't be able to see that. And then we can wrap this band around here. It's going to be a bit thicker on this side, and it's going to kind of diminish to being skinnier on that side. So my purple paint is a bit more on the thin side, so I'm gonna have to come in with another coat when it's dry. But I'll show you here. So that aqua one here, just the same on both sides, 2 ovals, and then just like a rainbow on top of his head there, just kind of follows along. Then this one here is gonna be looking up. So we have still the same 2 ovals going on, but just a tiny bit of that headband part is going to be kind of going in behind. So we're tucking that in. It's not coming all the way around for the middle one. And then for this one here, he's looking kind of up and off to the side. So we can see one of his earmuffs pretty much fully. And then this one's just a little bit of a half, almost even less than a half circle on this side. This is not coming over his face at all because of the way it's tilted. And then a little bit of a thicker band into a thinner band because we can't really see as it's going there. So hopefully that all makes sense. I'm gonna let you guys finish up however you want to do the tops of them. I'm gonna kind of go over here with a little bit of a second coat just because my paint was a little bit thinner. Don't be hard on yourself, guys, if something is happening that you're not loving. I always say just, you know, being present over perfect is what's important. If you haven't read the book Present Over Perfect, go and read it because it's an awesome read. Just taking time out for yourself and doing something like this, it doesn't matter what your art is looking like. It's just, it's a beneficiary, right? For you, you're taking time out for yourself. You're creating. And every time we create, we get better at it. So think of it as a work in progress. I haven't made a painting that's perfect yet, so. So I'm just going over these colors. I'm just giving a second coat. If your colors are good with one coat, you do not have to do a second coat. I have different brands here, so some brands are a bit thinner than others. So when we're done, if anybody wants to share their art, I always get lots of submissions in, and I usually make a video train of everybody's, and people just love to see what everyone came up with. So if you want to, after we're all done this, you can share it right under this feed, or I do have a page called, or a group called Created to Create with Artisticris, and that's just a free group where we share all our art. So there's over 1,000 people in that group, and it's a judgment-free zone, and we share our art there. So you can either do it on my page or in my group. I'll put the name of the group in the comments, so if you want to join, you can join. And I'll just pin it to the top there. So you'll see it says created to create with Artisticris. If you click it, it should bring you to that free group and you can share your art there. You'll see tons of people sharing art there. We got lots and lots of talented people. We have some beginners, and everybody just kind of helps each other out and gives each other advice. So feel free to join that. I'm just getting almost done here with this second coat. Okay, so just let me know in the comments if you're ready to move on, and we will work on doing their faces and their buttons. If I'm coming up frozen, you just refresh the page and it should come up the right way. Okay, so I'll give everybody one more minute and then we'll move on to the faces. So for anybody, if you need to put more black on your plate, go ahead, but we're gonna work with that right now. And we're gonna be working on their faces and their little buttons here. So we're just gonna be using that detail brush for right now. And you can, this is where you can get really creative. You do not have to stay, with what I did. You can make really their faces any way you want. But I'll show you how I did mine here. So I'm just going in with that black paint there. And I'm gonna start with this guy. And he's basically got just 2 button eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm just doing basically like I did with the head. I just do 2 half circles. Kind of helps me keep control of how big those circles are. So we got one there. And then I'm going to put another one beside it. And just fill them in. Yeah, you could definitely use a dotting tool. If you have one, Julie, go right ahead. And then I'm going to bring his mouth. He's pretty happy. I'm just going to leave a little space for his nose, but I'm not going to do his nose in black yet. I'm going to do it in orange first, and then we'll outline it. That way we can kind of just keep control of not getting that black paint mixed into the orange. So I'm just gonna put little dots all the way around in a smiley for his mouth. And his smiley face comes up quite high on the one side here. So he's a happy guy. He's ready to welcome 2021. He's got high hopes. I want to be that snowman. Yep, you can use the back end of your paintbrush too. If you have a bigger one like this, you can go ahead and just dunk that in the black paint and you can dot them on there as well. Whatever you want to do. Whatever's easiest. And then for his buttons, I just have 3 like round oval kind of buttons going on. Nothing too crazy there. So I'm going to go ahead and put those on. He's noseless for now, but we'll get to that. Okay, and then for this guy here in the middle, I just did a big smile. So I just have, he's going to be looking up. He's happy too. Just a big smile there. And then I did a couple little heart-shaped buttons. Yeah, the video will be on my page under videos, so you can view it tomorrow or the next day or whenever. It'll be up for a while. You'll definitely have plenty of time. And then for this guy here, I have the 2 circles now. I have them a little bit closer together, and we're going to put some dots in there so we know he's looking up, but a little bit more to this side than that side. I'll just by a little bit. Yeah, you can definitely do different faces, Amanda. Do whatever you want, honestly. Like, make this your own. Nobody's art looks the same, so make it your own. This is just I guideline you, and then if you have something creative you want to add, go for it. I'm all for it. There's something you might think of that I would have never thought of, so go right ahead. And then this guy's not sure about 2021. He's hoping it's better than 2020. So his face is a little squiggly. He's like, I don't know. I'm not sure how I'm feeling yet. We'll test it out. Test it out for a few months before we make an educated guess. Yeah, and don't worry if your numbers are going to be closer down, you can have shorter arms. I drew my arms on last, because then I could accommodate for how long or short they had to be, so. And then for this one's buttons, I just did little stars. So when we're done that, we can wash out that small brush. We're gonna go in with some orange in a minute and draw on those noses. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that orange on my plate. Amber, yeah, you're right. It's like, is COVID hanging around for all of 2021, or are we gonna get a break here? Not gonna lie, this is how I've been feeling this week. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about it. I'm aiming for this though. Next week we're going for that. Okay, so I'm still using just that small detail brush here. I just got it in some orange. And this nose here, I'm just gonna do a triangle with a rounded end. So I'm gonna bring that there into a point and back, and then I'm just gonna round this end off. So you'll see there, just rounded, and then I'm just gonna color it in or paint it in with that orange. And then this one here, same thing. Gonna do a point here where I want it in the middle and kind of just bring it down. And his nose is right into the snowball. So it's down a little bit into the snowball because, I mean, his head's not all the way back, right? It's just a bit back. So we are going to have that nose coming into that snow a bit. And then same with this one here. He's looking up, so his nose is going to be pointed up. And then for all these snowmen, well, this one doesn't have any eyes that we can see visibly. This one here I just left. For this guy here, we want to know he's looking up. So I'm just going to take and put a couple white dots more to the top here, looking up. You can add white dots here too if you want him to be looking a different way, but I just wanted to make it evident that he was kind of looking up at the 2021. Is everybody having fun? Are you enjoying the tutorial? Let me know in the comments if you're enjoying this. I have another free one coming up next week. I will show you the picture. Feel free to join me. If I can find the picture, hold on a second. So this is what we will be doing. Let me get this straight here. This is what we will be doing next week. These cute little polar bears here. They're looking up to the sky. So we'll be doing that one next week. This is another free event right here on my page. It'll be 8 p.m. Eastern as well. I don't remember if it's, I think it's next Friday, not Thursday, if I remember correctly. But if you go under events on my page, you can see all my free events, all my paid events. All my paid events are only $10 per household. So you can, I know under circumstances right now you can't really have a whole bunch of people over, but generally in normal circumstances you'd be able to have as many people as you want over for $10 to view the video. You get lifetime access to my paid ones, which means you can do them as many times or with as many different people as you'd like. So I do have free and paid ones there. If you go under events, and you can check out all the dates and see what works for you. Okay, so what we're going to work on next is our stencil. So just let me know, is there anybody that still needs more time, or is everybody pretty good to move on? And I'll show you how to put that stencil on. Okay. Okay, so if you're freehanding this, you can go ahead and you can freehand 2021 right now, however you would like. Some paintings I do freehand, some paintings have stencils. So for this one I chose a stencil, but there's nothing saying that I wouldn't have done it freehand. I just chose this one to be a stencil. So I'm just gonna place this on here where I want it. If you are doing chalk and you don't have transfer paper, then you're gonna wanna take the back of this, so see how I have the 2021 on the front here. You're going to want to flip it over, and you're going to color chalk all on the back of this. That's going to create this to become a transfer paper. So if you, this is a pretty dark background, so you could use white chalk, and you're just going to color the whole back of this, and then as soon as you do that, you're going to be right at the same step as me with the transfer paper. So you're basically just creating your own transfer paper. And I'm just going to put this here, wherever I want it. I'm going to tape it down just because I'm face up and it's going to fall on the ground if I don't. If you're flat on a surface, you don't have to tape it down. But I'm just going to do that for right now. And then I'm going to stick my transfer paper in behind. So shiny side goes against your canvas, and then the foggy side goes up. Make sure your painting isn't wet anywhere. So if you have anything that's wet here still, actually maybe I'll give it a quick blow dry. We don't want to smudge. This will be all dots after if we do that. So I'm just going to hold on to this and quickly dry this. Okay, so everything should be dry there. Okay, so now we're just going to stick that under there. Now, if you did chalk, your paper already has basically a coating like this on it. So you don't have to stick anything in behind. And what you can do is just go ahead and trace it. So I'm going to take this off to trace it just so that my easel doesn't go flying. But you're just going to trace over your numbers with that paper under there. And you don't have to push down too hard, just trace like you normally would. And it will show up. If you're using chalk, you can always trace, I suggest trace a little, like one of the numbers out, and then kind of like take a peek underneath, make sure it's tracing through and you can see it okay. But if you're using transfer paper, it will definitely transfer. Okay. So when I lift that up, you'll see 2021 is there. And I put that little mark. If you put a little pen mark, you'll see it's, where is it? It's right there. So when I paint this black, it's going to be covered, so you won't be able to see it. Okay, so what I'm going to use to color these in black is just my small flathead brush. I'm doing my letters black, but you can really do any color you'd like. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start painting those in. When you're done tracing, you can go ahead and paint them in. If you're freehanding, then keep freehanding. And really what I like to do is, when I'm doing anything that kind of needs a steadier hand, if you've painted with me before, you know I preach this every time, so you're probably like, here she goes again. But always keep something down on your surface. So for example, like some part of your hand. So I'll always place my pinky finger down, and then I'm only moving my fingers. And that means I only have to have control over my fingers. I don't have to have control over my whole arm. This is going to start to get heavy if you're up here. You're going to start to shake, and you're not really going to be able to keep control. But as soon as I put my side of my hand or my pinky finger down, I know that all I have to worry about is just controlling these fingers. So that is how I keep steady. And then as I need to move, I just move my whole hand. So once my fingers can't reach that point anymore where I need to paint down here, I stop painting, I move my hand, and then I continue on with just my fingers. And that's really a good way just to keep a steady hand, because when I used to do in-person paint parties, a lot of the times I would get, I can't keep my letters are shaky or my numbers are shaky, and that's why you're trying to put your whole weight of your arm into it. Also, sometimes just taking a nice deep breath, we don't realize because we're concentrating so hard on staying in the lines that we've held our breath. So then we're starting to shake. Once you put chalk on the back side of the numbers, then you can just put it on there and trace it. So you should have chalk. Your chalk should be on this side, not like it shouldn't be covering the letters. It should be on that side. Then you can just put it down like that, and you can trace it with your pen. And wherever you trace, you're going to get that chalk line's going to stay there just like this. So if you did white chalk, though, it'll just be white lines instead. I'm not done yet. No, not yet. My daughter checking if I'm done yet. Whenever I do paint nights, they get to stay up late because their dad works and then I'm doing this. So they know when I paint, they get to have a late night. I'm surprised my dog hasn't started fighting himself yet. Usually by now he's wrestling himself. He does it every paint night usually. Grunts and groans. He's been pretty silent tonight. Does anybody else like painting with their fur babies? I just have one beagle. He's 2 years old. He loves painting. He doesn't love painting. He doesn't paint at all. He loves laying with me while I paint. And don't rush on your numbers. Like, let's say you don't get these filled in. You can continue the tutorial with me on the smaller things, and then you can always go back after and just fill in your letters or your numbers. So don't worry if it looks like I'm a lot further ahead. Just have them traced out, and at least you know they're there. You can always fill them in any time after. Polly says, I have pet toads. That's cool. Yeah, I can tell you when my next painting will be. Give me 1 second. So the penguin one with my daughters this Sunday, 2 days from now, this Sunday, no, sorry, 3 days, at 12 p.m. Eastern, that's my next one. And then my polar bear one is the 22nd, that is next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So those are my next two. I'm using multimedia paper, so the paint won't go through this. The group, like the creatives, Confident Creatives group will be $10 for founding members a month. Your price will never go up. So that is only going to be offered for the first 7 days of it opening, and then after that it's going to go up to 20. So it would be good to get in if you're interested and you want to get in. There'll be two options. You can pay monthly, it's $10 a month, and you can cancel anytime, or you can pay yearly and save a month, so it'd be $110 for the year, but you cannot cancel that one. That one is a commitment for a year. So really it's up to you if you think that you would enjoy it, like being a part of a community where we, paint, have fun, kind of just make some time for yourself. Then I would do the yearly because you're saving a month. But if you're not 100% sure, you could always go monthly, pay $10 as you go, and then just cancel anytime if you're just not feeling it, or you just don't have, come into financial troubles or whatever the reason is. That way there's two options for everybody. Okay, so how's everybody doing with the 2021? Does anybody need more time to trace it? If anybody needs more time to trace it, just let me know. I'm not too worried about you being able to color it in. What we'll do is we'll go and paint in the arms and kind of put the black accents on here, and then you can go ahead afterwards and color in your numbers. Okay, so I see lots of people here. Okay, so we can go ahead and paint on our arms here. Like I said, we're close to the end now, so if you need more time, you can always just rewind this or fast forward to the second this video is done. So we're gonna take the black with our little detail brush here, and we can paint on our arms. Now, how I did that was really just kind of connecting sticks together. So if you see here, there's just different sticks kind of connecting together. Your numbers are going to be placed differently than mine if you didn't use the exact stencil or your snowmen are a little bigger. So just use your own discretion, but I really just kind of bend them wherever they need to go to hold up this 2021. So we're kind of just bending sticks here and there, and then I give them little fingers at the ends. Kind of shows that they're holding on. So you get one painting, as of right now, that's why you're a founding member, because everything's kind of in the works. But as of right now, you'll get one painting tutorial a month and one challenge a month. Now the challenge could be anywhere from something that's like technical in the sense of like maybe blending well or doing, you know, lines well, or it could be a challenge with something inspirational. So for example, show you here. So this is going to be a challenge going into the membership. So here I did a beach scene and we have different boats, and on them are just inspirational messages. So it's just something that means something to you in your life or something that makes you feel good. So this is going to be the very first challenge where there'll be giveaways. And this is free. This is to get into the membership. So this is not, there's no charge for that. So just that's one example. But I have lots in my mind. My mind's always going, so. Also, as a founding member, you have lots of input too. If there's something you'd like to see, if there's something you'd like different, I'm very open to suggestion. So this arm here, I kind of put kind of in the middle. It's holding up the 2 and the 0. Just kind of put him in the middle there. He's kind of holding up both. Giveaways I've done in the past are Amazon gift cards. They might involve, you know, a certain type of brushes, like a pack of brushes or paints or anything like that. But mostly probably gift cards is what they will be. I'm just crossing these guys' arms over just because it looks cute. so we have all their arms up there holding on. Wendy, the level of experience can be from beginner to experienced. Really, this is, I don't teach fine art, I just teach fun art. I always say that. So really, the point of the group is you'll learn skills, but at the same time, we're just gathering together, having a fun time, kind of getting away for ourselves, doing something for ourselves. So it's not going to be in-depth, like great in-depth skilled art, like detail fine art. It's going to be more things that are fun like this. If that makes sense. Okay, so what I'm going to do while I have this blackout in this little brush here is I'm going to start outlining the details of the snowman. So if you'll see here, I'm not going right around. Some of his snow is kind of sticking out past that black part. That kind of just makes it look cute and cartoonish. I also don't have a steady line, so there's some that like depart there and kind of start again. And that's the fun part. So really, to do that, you just kind of got to commit to a line and then just lift up when you're done. So if I'm going to go around this way here, I kind of just commit to wrapping around and then lift up. Same with down here. So nothing nothing too solid or steady. It's just kind of showing that he's round. Same with around the face here. And then we can go in and kind of outline our noses. And just put a couple little lines here for his nose. Just kind of add character. And same with the earmuffs. Just kind of go around, outline the earmuffs a bit. Doesn't have to be exact or all the way around perfectly. And you'll see for this one here, it's kind of just sneaking for that pink one there. It's kind of just, they're sneaking around the back of his head. And then really the last thing that I do is I just went and I dotted around the numbers using the back of the brush like someone else had suggested earlier. So I just go in with white. I need some more on my plate. And I'm just gonna dot every so often along the edge here. Kind of make it look like those Hollywood numbers. Or Hollywood letters, I should say. Can't talk tonight. And kind of just makes them pop out a bit. Really, it's just consistency that makes you better for art. It's not like you're born knowing how to paint. Like I said, I self-taught over the last 12 years or more, and as I kept going, I saw improvements. But I mean, there's so much more I could still learn and do better. But as long as you're having fun along the way, that's really all that matters. So if you go under my events and you see the events there, if you go in the description of each event, there is always a supply list. So there's a supply list always in the description. If there are stencils involved, they will be in the discussion part. So when you go on to the events page, you'll see an event, you click on it, there'll be two headings. One will say details, one will say discussion. When you click the details, you'll see the full supply list with any details you need to see, like the date and the time. And then if you click discussion and you scroll down, on there I usually put, if there is a stencil, I will put any updated info that's going to happen with the event or any reminders. Same with the stencil itself. So for all my events, that's how I do them. Yeah, so if you go on my Facebook page and you scroll down a bit, you'll see I've already posted the link a couple times to my membership, the pre-sign up, so you can find it there too. Also, before the actual challenge, there'll be lots of notifications on my page, so no worries about missing anything. And if you do pre-sign up, then I'll be sending out emails, so you definitely won't miss anything. Yeah, so if you're looking for the stencil for this class, if you just go under this event, you will see it in the discussion part. Just hit discussion, scroll down, and you will see that I posted the stencil under one of the, under a post. You'll see it there. Okay, last but not least, make sure you sign your work with your initials or your name, wherever you'd like. I like to always put it down at the corner here. Just like that. Be proud of what you created tonight. If you're left-handed like me, you probably dunked your hand in it and then got some here, but that's okay. It's all part of the process. Every single painting I do, I end up dunking my hand in it because I'm left-handed, and then I get paint somewhere. So that's maybe just a staple of mine. But yeah, so that's that there. Like I said, if you want to share yours, I would love to see it. I know lots of people would love to see your version. You can just post it either under this thread, or I did pin to the top of the comments Created to Create with Artistic Chris, which is the private group where we share stuff. So You don't have to just paint with me to be a part of that group. You can paint stuff on your own. You can paint with other artists and still share it judgment-free in that group. So that's available there. But yeah, so I hope everybody had a fun night. Thank you so much for joining me. This is what I love to do. So you will be seeing lots more of me in the future. If you also have enjoyed this, feel free to follow me on my page. You can also hit the little bell notification so that when I go live, you will be able to see when I do go live. And yeah, I think that's really it. But thank you, and have a great night.